Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crash Bandicoot Cancelled, where we take a look at the games in Crash's history that never got to see the light of day, that were at some point or another in development but were ultimately cancelled. We'll be looking at the concepts behind these games, background into their development, and why they ended up being cancelled. Today, we're going to take a look at the multiple ideas for a sequel and spin-off to Crash Twinsanity. In late September, early October of 2004, Crash Twinsanity was released to moderate critical and financial success. Despite the rough and rushed development of the game, Traveller's Tales Oxford was still determined to carry out the task of bringing new life to the Crash Bandicoot franchise, the whole reason the subdivision of the dev studio was founded in the first place. What resulted were several concepts for intended sequels and spin-offs, all in the same style of Crash Twinsanity. All of the information on these projects was revealed by Keith Webb, one of Twinsanity's lead artists. The first of these was a planned direct sequel to Twinsanity that was going to be themed around TV shows. The story would see Dr. Neo Cortex delivering a new TV and remote to Crash's home disguised as a gift. When Crash switched it on, he would have been sucked into the TV. Each level of the game would have been based off a different genre or style of TV show. Some concepts included a Wild West show or a old black and white cartoon. Some of the more conceptualized level ideas were one where Crash would find himself in a medical drama. It would have involved enemies coming at him with big needles and rolling down hospital corridors on beds. Another one would have seen Rusty Walrus from Twinsanity get his own cooking show, which would have likely ended in another chase sequence. Ultimately though, this is all the known information about this potential sequel to Crash Twinsanity. Though another idea the team had in mind was a spin-off game called Cortex Chaos, or the all-new Cortex show. As the title suggests, the game would have focused the spotlight on Dr. Neo Cortex as the main character. The idea was helmed by Keith Webb himself and went through a decent amount of pre-production with at least 3 different concepts for the game. The first concept centered around Cortex having an army of small clones. He would have been able to control these small clones to carry out certain tasks. These would have included picking up and throwing bombs, collecting items, or lining up to create a bridge. Keith Webb actually likened the gameplay concept to that of Pikmin, controlling a group of characters to progress in the game. The second concept for the game followed a Rockman/Mega Man styled idea. The story would have seen Cortex being kicked out of the Evil Scientist League due to his alliance with Crash in Twinsanity, and the remaining team of evil doctors, now led by Dr. Entropy, would have been out to seek revenge on Cortex. The idea would have seen each level being based around one of the villains, including Entropy, Engine, Embryo, Entrance, and even Nitrous Oxide. It would have also introduced some brand new villainous doctors to the cast of characters. These included Dr. Entombed, a large Egyptian mummified pharaoh, Dr. Entertained, a strangle clown-like doctor, and Dr. Entangled, a doctor based around plants with vines growing out of him. There were apparently more concepts, though Keith Webb couldn't recall them all. The third and final concept doesn't have much known about it, except for the fact that it would have been more weapon-oriented, featuring an array of guns and gadgets to aid in gameplay. Nina would have also been more prominent in this version. In the end, Keith Webb went on to say that had the game continued its development, it likely would have borrowed from all 3 concepts. So, why were they cancelled? Well, there's a very short and simple answer to this. Both the proposed Twinsanity Sequel and Cortex Chaos never made it past the concept phase. And the simple truth of why these games never made it further is that the projects were never picked up by publishers Vivendi Universal. Why exactly? That we unfortunately may never know. Perhaps they either didn't see potential in either of the projects, or they had different expectations for another Crash game. And after these 2 projects weren't picked up, Traveller's Tales Oxford went on to conceptualize Crash Clash Racing, which I covered in a previous episode. And unfortunately, when that project was transferred to Radical Entertainment to become Crash Tag Team Racing, it unfortunately brought an end not only to Traveller's Tales Oxford's time as the lead developer of the Crash series, but also also the end to the game studio as a whole. It was a sad and unfortunate end for a studio whose goal was to ultimately bring a new lease of life to the franchise with their unique style and ideas. But that is all for today. I hope you all learned something new here. All information is from crashmania.net. Head over there to find out more. Like and subscribe to stay up to date with more content, and be on the lookout for more of these cancelled game videos. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Take care.